Hi, I'm Naveen Day. This is Bridge City News. Here are some of the top stories we have lined up for you tonight.
Contract talks between the Alberta government and teachers break down, and that has parents nervous about next week's return to school. After an Ontario man is charged with assaulting an intruder during a break-in, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre is demanding changes to the criminal code. A young hockey player hopes this will be the year he finally makes it onto the Lethbridge Hurricanes roster.
Your nation, your province, your southern Alberta. From the heart of Lethbridge, it's Bridge City News.
Thanks so much for joining us. With a new school year set to begin next week, parents are not happy to hear this news. The group representing Alberta's teachers has broken off mediated contract talks with the province. In June, the Alberta Teachers Association had voted in favor of strike action with the province. That followed teachers' rejection of a mediator's proposal that would give teachers at least 12% in wage increases over 4 years. Education Minister Dimitrios Nicolaides said the province also made an offer to the ATA to hire 1,000 more teachers every year for the next 3 years at an estimated cost of over $750 million over the term. An offer, he says, provides the exact request the union made in June of 2025. Nicolaides says the ATA is playing politics at the expense of children's education.
We were informed that the Alberta Teachers Association bargaining team would make a counter-proposal to us on August 27th. However, no such counter-proposal was received. Rather, on August 27th, the bargaining team made it clear that the main interest was increasing wages for teachers and opposing the government. The ATA's focus on wages and not classroom complexity is not what they have been saying in public. For months, they have been talking openly about the need to increase funding, hire more teachers, improve working conditions, and provide more supports for teachers. However, we have now learned that wages are their main concern. The government of Alberta will prioritize children's learning, and we are now exposing the union's strategy and tactics. We cannot sit idly by while the public, parents, students, and others are manipulated into supporting a union that has shown its primary interest is, in fact, diverting supports away from the classroom.
In response to Nicolaides' accusation that the union is playing politics, Alberta Teachers Association President Jason Schilling says if they're playing anything, it's catch-up.
The 3,000 teachers added over the next 3 years is a drop in the bucket of what we needed to see. We're not politicizing everything or anything. We are showing the reality of what is happening within our schools in Alberta. The fact that my colleagues are seeing the largest classes that they've ever seen. The fact that they can't spend more than maybe up to 2 minutes per student in a classroom. The fact that they don't have the resources to meet the needs of students within our schools, including those with special needs. The fact that they don't have the very things that they need to do their jobs, all while watching their salaries fall further and further behind, is not politicizing. It's telling the truth about what we see in our schools.
Schilling says the ATA wants to see changes to the pay grid so teachers get raises earlier in their tenure. Teachers voted overwhelmingly in favor of strike action back in May, but Schilling says right now the ATA is not planning to issue 72-hour strike notice. So the plan right now is for classes to be in session on Tuesday morning. As for local reaction, school boards are keeping tight-lipped. The Westwind School Division, which covers Cardston County and Warner County number 5, gave a firm no comment when asked for a reaction to a potential teacher strike. There has also been no comment from the Holy Spirit Catholic Schools or the Palliser School Division. The Lethbridge School Division, in an email to media, said all schools in Lethbridge School Division are preparing to be open and operating for the start of the school year on Tuesday, September the 2nd. At this time, we are not aware of any action that will impact our operations, and we are excited to welcome students back. If this changes, we will inform you as soon as possible. As the new school year begins on September the 2nd, the Lethbridge Police Service is stepping up enforcement to ensure traffic safety in school and playground zones. With more children walking and biking, drivers are urged to slow down, follow the rules of the road, and stay alert. Sergeant Tony Ramotowski from the LPS Traffic Response Unit shares safety tips for drivers, cyclists, and students.
With harmonized playground zones effective 7:30 till 9 p.m. all year round, drivers should already be accommodated and used to being slowing down in the 30-kilometer areas. In addition to speeding, police will be on the lookout for other infractions, such as driving, failed to yield to pedestrians, parking violations, U-turns, and pedestrian issues. Motorists are reminded not to double park across any roadway, and parents are encouraged to set a good example for their children by crossing the street at corners or in marked crosswalks. It's also important to watch out for school buses as the children get on or get off. Kids are excited now, so they might run out into traffic and potentially get hit by another vehicle. Just some safety tips for students. As exiting your vehicle, please watch out for other vehicles that may be passing by. Entering the roadway, always proceed slowly, checking both ways for vehicles. Never run onto the road. Make sure eye contact with drivers as you cross the street. Always wear visible clothing. Never have earbuds or any kind of iPad or be on your cell phone as you're crossing the street.
The sergeant advises cyclists not to ride on the sidewalk unless it is a designated multi-use pathway. Residents of Minneapolis, Minnesota are still coming to grips with a shooting this week that left 2 children dead. The children were killed when a gunman opened fire while the students were celebrating Mass at a church next to their school. The families of the victims are wrestling with their grief.
Fletcher loved his family, friends, fishing, cooking, and any sport that he was allowed to play. While the hole in our hearts and lives will never be filled, I hope that in time our family can find healing. Please remember Fletcher for the person he was and not the act that ended his life. Give your kids an extra hug and kiss today. We love you, Fletcher. You'll always be with us.
Fletcher and 10-year-old Harper Moisky were killed, and more than a dozen of their schoolmates were injured when a shooter fired through the church's windows. Police say the shooter was a former student at the school and used to be a member of the church. It's a story that has left a lot of Canadians shaking their heads. Earlier this month, a man in Lindsay, Ontario was charged with assault after defending himself against an intruder who broke into his apartment. The intruder was armed with a crossbow. Now, some residents and business owners are coming forward to show support for Jeremy David McDonald.
My neighbor upstairs, he was sleeping. He woke up to an intruder in his home, and long story short, the intruder got into an altercation with him, and the intruder was hurt in the process, and it resulted in JD being charged criminally. He's been my friend for years. He lives above my business. He's a good guy. Goes to work every day. Like your average, person. Minds his business. He's a good guy. Politicians make laws. The police uphold the law, right? And they're bound to a certain degree by the circumstances of this situation. And unfortunately, they had to lay those charges on my friend. However, right, maybe that this is a sign that, the laws in our country might need to change a little bit. You can't really determine the amount of force you're using to a certain degree if you don't know the force that's attended upon yourself, right? So, to each person that would be different, right, and how they would interpret it. So if you woke up in your home and you thought that, there was a burglar in your house, let's say you didn't think that person was going to harm you. You might react different to somebody that automatically thought that that person was going to hurt them.
The alleged intruder, 41-year-old Michael Kyle Breen, was airlifted to hospital with life-threatening injuries. He has been charged with break and enter, possession of a weapon for a dangerous purpose, and failing to comply with a probation order. Meanwhile, the federal Conservative leader wants the government to amend the criminal code to say that the use of force is reasonable to defend your home if someone breaks into it. Pierre Poilievre made the announcement today in Brampton, Ontario.
We're calling on the government to introduce and immediately pass the Stand on Guard law, failing which one of our party's MPs will put forward such a bill. It will amend Section 34.2 of the Criminal Code, which right now says that you can defend yourself based on 9 very complicated and vague conditions. Now look, if you're defending your house, you don't have time to think through 9 different conditions. You have one condition: to protect yourself and your kids. And it is wrong for the law, for the police, and for judges to apply a complicated, indecipherable legal doctrine against you when you were only doing what is right. Our amendment instead will change Section 34.2 of the Criminal Code to say that the use of force, including lethal force, is presumed reasonable against an individual who unlawfully enters a house and poses a threat to the safety of anyone inside.
Poilievre says the change will bring Canada in line with Ireland, Spain, the UK, and a few U.S. states that have similar laws already in place. Prime Minister Mark Carney has announced that Calgary will be the headquarters of a new major projects office. In a statement, Carney says the MPO will serve as a single point of contact to get nation-building projects built faster by streamlining and accelerating regulatory approval and by helping to structure and coordinate financing of these projects. Carney says the MPO will help to identify projects that are in Canada's national interest and will help fast-track them by creating a single set of conditions. The goal is to have a maximum approval timeline of 2 years. Carney has also named Dawn Farrell as CEO of the Major Projects Office. Farrell is former chair of the board of directors of Trans Mountain Corporation. She also served as an executive vice president for BC Hydro before becoming Trans Mountain CEO in 2022. The Major Projects Office will also have an Indigenous Advisory Council. The membership of the council will be confirmed next month. A new poll suggests an overwhelmingly majority of Canadians think government should regulate artificial intelligence. The Leger poll found 85% of respondents believe governments should regulate AI tools to ensure their use is ethical and safe.
It's very clear Canadians want government involved, despite the fact that 6 in 10 feel that AI companies should bear responsibility when things go wrong. They still want government involved. And so somebody has got to kind of be accountable and control all of that, because it's clear that this isn't going anywhere. It's not really surprising then that half of Canadians are worried about a decline in their cognitive abilities. And what really stood out for me there was that the concern was even higher among young adults. So young adults tend to be less worried and more trusting of AI. But they're using AI more, and they're more likely to be concerned about this than older folks. And I think it's because they are in there and they are understanding the implications of that.
Artificial Intelligence Minister Evan Solomon has said he will put less emphasis on AI regulation at a time the world's governments shift away from regulation to focus on AI adoption. The Quebec government says it is planning to ban prayer in public places as part of a move to strengthen secularism in the province. The announcement makes good on a suggestion put forward in December by Premier François Legault, who said he didn't want to see people praying in public parks or on streets. On Thursday, Secularism Minister Jean-François Roberge confirmed he will table legislation this fall to outlaw the practice. Roberge did not say whether the government would invoke the notwithstanding clause, which would allow the bill to override certain sections of the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Last year, the Premier said he was considering that possibility. The move comes amid simmering tensions in Quebec over Muslim prayers taking place as part of pro-Palestinian demonstrations, including in front of the Notre Dame Basilica of Montreal. If you're tired of your flimsy paper Alberta healthcare card, there's some good news. The government has unveiled the Alberta Wallet. It will be a digital way to have your government-issued documents available when you need them.
So many of us have added our debit cards and our credit cards, our membership cards, our insurance pink slips, or countless of other documents into our phones for ease of use and convenience. The Alberta Wallet works in the same way, and it means you don't have to worry about misplacing important documents and spending time getting replacements. Everything you need will be in the same place, and it's entirely your choice about how to use it.
Smith says parents and guardians will be able to add their children's mobile health cards to their own Alberta wallets. And she says there is no tracking of how your cards are used. The Alberta NDP is calling on the UCP government to end its attack on disabled Albertans. The NDP's Shadow Minister for Community and Social Services, Marie Renaud, says the attack has been going on for a long time.
First, they de-indexed AISH payments, meaning as inflation soared, AISH stayed the same. They have cut off access to family support for children with disabilities. They have essentially stopped intake for FSCD, which is Family Supports for Children with Disabilities, and PDD, which is Persons with Developmental Disabilities Supports for Adults. The wait lists have been hidden since 2021. They're stealing, of course, the new $200 disability benefit. And most alarming of all is they are widespread, blowing up AISH, and they're moving everybody to a new program they call ADAPT, which is Alberta Disability Assistance Program, which is essentially a program that will force people with disabilities to again prove that they are severely or profoundly disabled. And the UCP is saying this is a good move because they can work.
Decisions are being made by people who've never lived on AISH, who don't know what it's like to choose between paying for food and medication, and who don't seem interested in listening.
The Alberta government has told recipients in a letter that they must apply for the federal benefits by September the 5th or risk having $200 per month deducted from their AISH payments starting in October of 2025. Millions of dollars are on their way to southern Alberta, earmarked for First Nations policing. Alberta Minister of Public Safety and Emergency Services Mike Ellis stopped in the community of Standoff Friday afternoon and announced that the province will invest $5.5 million to assist in building a new detachment for the Blood Tribe Police Service. In addition, the federal government is contributing $6.8 million and the Blood Tribe will put in $5 million. The new detachment building will replace the current one in Standoff, which has housed the service for 35 years since it was established. It is now deemed outdated and outgrown.
Now, while the building has been expanded several times, it has long since passed its useful life, and I've been in there, and yes, sir, it is time for a new building. Its footprints, of course, in design no longer meet the modern standards for safety and scrutiny needed for effective policing. And that's why this investment is, of course, so important. Once complete, the new detachment will provide infrastructure that meets modern safety and operational standards. A new building means enhanced public and officer safety with better service for residents, whether it's quicker response times, improved investigations, or safer environment for those who work at the detachment, and quite frankly, for just people who want help.
Now, we are the largest Indian reserve in Canada, and we currently have a population, or at least a membership, of at least 14,000 members. So the police service are kept very busy with the community. So this building is going to enhance that service. Great service we're already providing, but the new building, as you stated, will be state-of-the-art, up-to-date with technology and everything that we need to allow our police force to do continue doing and do a better job than they've been doing over the past few years.
The Blood Tribe Police Service is one of 3 Indigenous police services in Alberta and was founded in 1990. Groundbreaking for the new facility is planned for next spring. A Fort Macleod resident is facing more charges related to child pornography. On Wednesday, the Alberta Law Enforcement Response Team, or ALERT, along with the Alberta Internet Child Exploitation, or ICE unit, executed a search warrant at a residence in Fort Macleod. 52-year-old Jerry Lee Thompson was arrested and charged with possessing and accessing and distributing child pornography. Police say Thompson has been investigated and charged for similar offenses in the past and was on court-ordered release at the time of this search warrant. He is now in custody and scheduled to appear in court on September the 3rd. The Lethbridge Hurricanes have begun training camp this week ahead of the 2025-26 season, with an exception that the team's main roster will look very different from last year. A total of 51 players are attending rookie camp that opened on Thursday, plus an additional 33 players from the main camp. Many notable veterans of the team have since aged out of the league and have gone to sign pro contracts elsewhere, including Braden Edwards, Votek Port and Leo Brayard. Outgoing head coach Bill Peters has been replaced by Matt Anholt, who says he's excited being back on the ice and meeting the new selection of players.
Well, I think it's obviously a new group. I'd say about 80% of our team is going to be new players this year. So I think it's a good challenge for our returning players like Logan Wormwald and Shane Smith and Luke Cousins, Carson Adair, Cohen Cleaver to step into leadership roles that maybe they aren't used to. And they're going to lead the way in a positive way, and guys are going to follow for sure. Obviously, our team has a lot of new faces this year, so it's been nice to talk with some of those kids as they've been coming over the last few days, and nice to see those guys on the ice. And obviously adding a couple new staff members this year as well, and Matt Weninger and Torrin White. So just exciting, lots of smiling faces for sure.
Super excited, coming off a good year. The energy's high. Everyone's excited to come back. Bit of a different look, like different players this year, but yeah, couldn't be more excited to be back. It's definitely a bit different. I think last year we had a lot of returning guys. Everyone was kind of comfortable, familiar with the system and everything, but it's been good. It's been fun to meet all the new guys, all the new faces around the rink, and on the ice, it's good to see, different skills, different everything that people are bringing to the table.
About 5 players attending training camp this year are from Lethbridge area, including Kate Duell from Tabor. The 19-year-old says after coming to camp 2 years ago, his goal now is to obtain a spot on the main roster.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet to come. Local team, I grew up watching the Hurricanes, so to come in and have a chance to play for them is pretty neat. Came to camp a couple years ago, met some of the younger guys back then, like Wormwald and all that, but they've been really good to welcome me back and bring me in and show me around. A little bit smaller guy, so not too physical, but try and do what I can out there. The mood's pretty exciting. There's a lot of young guys coming in trying to make it to the league, so it's pretty neat to see them come in with big goals and see what they can do.
The Canes will open the preseason with back-to-back games at the visitlethbridge.com arena this coming Tuesday and Wednesday at 7 p.m. each night. Well, the long weekend is your last chance to take in some last-minute holidaying before kids return to school. Weather-wise, we're going to see 30-plus temps and sunshine all Labor Day weekend long. A full look at our local and national forecast is coming up next.
Our 7-day forecast has us with a chance of showers for today with a high of 26. Saturday has a high of 30. Sunday has a high of 31. Labor Day Monday has a high of 33. Tuesday and Wednesday will have a high of 29. And Thursday will have a high of 31 to end off our 7-day forecast. Our almanac has us with an average high of 23 for this time of year with an average low of 8. The record high on this day was set back in 1929 with 34, and the record low was set back in 1909 with -1. The sun rose at 6:42 a.m. today and set at 8:21 p.m. Our national forecast has Victoria with a high of 22 and partly cloudy skies. Vancouver has sunny skies with a high of 23. Edmonton will have a high of 31 and sunny skies, and Calgary will share those sunny skies with a high of 28. The rest of the prairies have Saskatoon and Regina with chances of showers and highs of 31, and Winnipeg will also share that high of 31, but with sunny skies. Central Canada has Toronto with a high of 22 and partly cloudy skies. Ottawa and Montreal have chance of showers, with Ottawa having a high of 19 and Montreal a high of 17. Atlantic Canada has us with a lot of rain. Fredericton, Halifax, Charlottetown, and St. John's have chances of showers. Fredericton has a high of 20, Halifax a high of 21, Charlottetown has a high of 22, and St. John's has a high of 19.
Canada's economy contracted 1.6% in the second quarter under the weight of U.S. tariffs. We get details from Michelle Zadikian with the Canadian Press.
Statistics Canada says GDP declined 1.6% on an annualized basis in the quarter, driven by a sharp drop-off in exports and business investment. It's a significant slowdown from 2% annualized growth in the first quarter. Economists, though, expected a sharp slowdown as businesses seem to rush orders early in the year to get ahead of tariffs, boosting activity in the first quarter and cooling the economy off in the second. StatCan also released its GDP figures for June, indicating the economy fell 0.1%. It matches contractions in May and April and marks the first 3 straight months with GDP declines since the final quarter of 2022. That string of declines has CIBC Capital Markets saying the data supports its call for a September interest rate cut from the Bank of Canada. StatCan's early estimates for July have real GDP ticking up 0.1%.
3 major tobacco companies are set to begin paying out billions of dollars to provinces, territories, and former smokers. An Ontario judge sanctioned the $32.5 billion compensation plan in March, and the first payments are scheduled for tomorrow. The landmark settlement follows years of mediation between JTI McDonald, Rothmans, Benson & Hedges, and Imperial Tobacco Canada and their creditors. About $24 billion will go to provinces and territories over 2 decades, in addition to money for Canadian smokers and a foundation to fight tobacco-related diseases. Now, here's a look at today's markets.
The TSX was down 129 points on the day to finish at 28,564. The Dow was down 92 to 45,544. The S&P 500 was down 41 points to 6,460, and the Nasdaq was down 249 to 21,455. West Texas Intermediate oil was down 59 cents to $64.01 US per barrel. Natural gas was up 7 cents to $3.02 US. Gold was up 31.20 to $34.4850 US an ounce, and silver was up 66 cents to $39.74 US an ounce. Feed wheat is at $7.21 per bushel, barley is at $5.57, canola is at $14.15, and corn is at $7.29 per bushel. Live cattle were up $4.90 to $241.90. Feeder cattle were up $2.97 to $364.77, and lean hogs October contract was up 75 cents to $95.02. And the Canadian dollar was up slightly over the past 24 hours and currently sits at $72.80 US.
Recapping one of our top stories, parents are nervous as a potential teacher strike or lockout looms. Mediated talks between the Alberta Teachers Association and the Teachers Employer Bargaining Association broke down Thursday, increasing the likelihood of a labor disruption. The new school year is set to begin next Tuesday. Teachers have already voted overwhelmingly in favor of strike action, but the union says it won't be serving 72-hour strike notice right now. Euthanasia in Canada, otherwise known as MAID, has been a controversial issue for years. Coming up, I chat with Angelina Ireland, Executive Director of the Delta Hospice Society, who shares how they seek to provide a MAID-free space for those living in their last days and why the BC government won't allow it. That's coming up next. Also, when you see news happening in your community, be sure to send us an email at info@bridgecitynews.ca. You can also visit our website or YouTube channel anytime to check out more of our stories and interviews. The issue of medical assistance in dying, or MAID, is a controversial one. It provides eligible individuals with the choice to end their lives with the assistance of a physician or nurse practitioner. But the issue has taken a bizarre turn in British Columbia. The government has taken over a hospice after it refused to offer MAID as an option. That hospice was run by the Delta Hospice Society, and the society is now considering opening a hospice in Alberta. Angelina Ireland is the Executive Director of the Society and joins us now. Angelina, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So we actually had you on our show a couple of years ago when the Delta Hospice Society had originally refused to provide maid services. So just give us a short version of how it all started and what led to the government basically taking over your hospice.
Well, okay, to make a very long story short, we are a 34-year palliative care organization. We are committed to that medical discipline of 50 years that does nothing to hasten death. Therefore, it does not include euthanizing our patients. So we fundraised $8 million. We got a land lease for 35 years with the government. We built a hospice, 10 beds. Next door to that, a supportive care center. We operated that for 10 years and very successfully. And we're very proud of that work. Now, when MAID came on the scene, all the hospices and everything that the government operates or wants to operate was told they're going to have to participate in that program. And quite frankly, we said we will not, because there has to be at least one sanctuary for the dying left, because quite frankly, there aren't any anymore. Places are being compelled to accept MAID, and we just refuse to. So the government didn't like that. They cut off our operating funding, which we were fine with. We don't need their money. And of course, that was the wrong answer to give a very strong and tyrannical government. So they basically canceled our lease. They canceled our lease with almost 25 years left. They evicted us from that property and they took over our hospice. They kept the same name that we gave it, the Irene Thomas Hospice, but they now operate it and they now provide euthanasia there. We received no compensation for those buildings. We had them appraised at $8.5 million. And that was just, I guess, a great big windfall for the BC NDP government. So even though euthanasia activists came for us, the BC government came for us, we were able to survive. We were able to keep our authentic and historically accurate palliative care organization intact. And so much, in fact, that we've been able to raise hundreds of thousands of dollars. And now we are in the position to open another hospice.
Wow, and your involvement with the Hospice Society was actually very personal for you after your own cancer scare. Tell us more about that.
Yes. So I am a cancer survivor, thanks be to God, and some very good medical care that I received. And I went to the Delta Hospice Society during my cancer journey. So, I'm not a doctor or a nurse. I am only a lowly patient, but I do know the kind of care that I want to have. And so, the Delta Hospice Society, I joined the board of directors, I became the president, and then, of course, stood against the government, face on, telling them that we will not kill our patients, but we will give them authentic palliative care for those who choose to be with us. So it is personal. It's personal for me as a cancer survivor. It's personal for me as being part of that vulnerable population, which it seems that is being gone after. We have found that the MAID regime is actually very predatory against the vulnerable people in this country. And so we stand to defend and protect the vulnerable.
Now, your society lost everything in BC. I mean, they cut off your funding and they canceled your lease, which was a 12,000 square foot facility that you built, and it was yanked right out from underneath you. I'm sure the BC government has some fine prints that allowed them to do that, but has there been any restitution for you?
No, not at all. In fact, they took the money. Activists tried to cancel us in a cancel culture. They actually even went after me quite personally. But, we have survived. We have been able to endure the hate. And because we stand on truth, we stand on a principle that there should be places in this country that are made free spaces. And we stand on our charter rights, Section 7, security of the person. Nothing becomes more personal when there's euthanasia activists and doctors coming to you asking you if you want to be euthanized. So it's very important that we have these sanctuaries for people because honestly, not everybody wants to be euthanized when they get to a position of end of life choices. And we need to stand for those people who want an authentic end of life experience where they can live well until their natural end.
So when did you start considering Alberta as an option?
Well, now, after we have collected a good sum of money, I personally reached out to the Minister of Health. It's no longer Adrian Dix, it is now Josie Osborne, and sent her a letter asking for a meeting by email and registered mail and telephoned, and because we want to be able to present this to the people of British Columbia. We have a sanctuary that we want to present to them to help them, certainly in a healthcare system that is struggling, that is bankrupt. And we got no reply, none at all, just crickets. So we reached out to Delta MLA, who's also an NDP member of the legislature, Ravi Kaloon, to ask him to help us to get a meeting with the Minister of Health. Again, no response, just crickets, ghosted. We're not going to purchase any kind of property in British Columbia without the favorable response from the BC NDP government that we're not going to be in their crosshairs any longer. We're not going to invest $1 million into the healthcare system only to have it yanked out from under us again. So we received no reply. Reporters have called the BC NDP, the Minister of Health, the MLAs, asking for a simple question. Why won't you talk to the Delta Hospice Society? What do you have against them? That, what they're trying to do to help people. And again, stonewalled. So it'd be really interesting if your organization would reach out to them and ask them that question. But, in that time, I've reached out to them in May. It's now, we're moving towards the end of August. In that time, I've reached out to the BC Conservatives, and I've had meetings with them, and they're supportive of what we're trying to do. I've even reached out to the Alberta government, and I've had meetings with them, and they are also welcoming to what we're trying to provide to, a certain constituency, right? We're only trying to provide choice to those who want it. That's all.
Right, so you've reached out to officials in Alberta. This would be like both justice and health, correct?
Correct.
And,
yes.
and how did those talks go? You said that they were welcoming.
Yes, of course. They're interested in providing a continuum of care so that all people's choices are provided for. We don't speak for those who want to be euthanized, that want MAID, because quite frankly, they have an empire behind them to provide for them and to accommodate them in their choice. What we don't have is organizations and places for people who don't want to be euthanized.
Do you have a time frame for your decision?
So we're just looking for a property. We're actively looking for a property, and if anybody out there knows of a property that they'd like to sell to us so that we can provide a sanctuary, we'd be very happy to hear from them. They can call us toll free, 1-800-232-1589. We're looking to buy a property to either renovate something into a proper hospice or to build something. So we're open. We think that Alberta might be the place that would allow us to provide, which is truly just a gift to humanity.
And is there a particular city or town that you have your eyes on in Alberta? I know there's property here in Lethbridge, and as well as like some abandoned buildings or space up for lease.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting because we're open, right? I've already made one trip to Alberta and scoped out a certain area. Beautiful, very beautiful. The constituency there where I went, I think would welcome us. And that's all we want. We just want people who will appreciate what we're trying to offer. So again, if you know of a place, let us know, and we'll come out and we'll take a look, and we'll decide if that would be something that could be an appropriate spot.
Angelina Ireland is the Executive Director of the Delta Hospice Society in British Columbia and possibly soon to be in Alberta. Angelina, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much.
Pickleball is a sport that seems to be growing in leaps and bounds these days, but why is that? What's going on? I'm going to find out today because I am joined by Richard Boris. We are actually at the Coaldale Pickleball Club out in Coaldale, Alberta, of course. And Richard, you are one of the club directors. You're also a pickleball instructor.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about pickleball. What's going on? Why is this sport becoming so popular?
Oh, there's numerous reasons for it being more so popular. I guess it really took off with older people. They picked it up from down south in the States.
Yeah.
It's easy to learn.
Okay.
It's easy for older people to move around. It's inexpensive. And probably the biggest reason, it's just so much fun.
Yeah.
It's a very social sport. I've met so many people since we started playing. It's a great sport.
So what is the difference between pickleball and tennis? I mean, we're basically on a tennis court here. The ball looks a lot lighter. The paddles look a lot different than tennis.
Yeah.
It's easier to play than tennis?
It's much easier to play with tennis. That's why it's one of the reasons it's really taken off.
Okay.
The court is much smaller. We've got 4 courts in here, and this is about the same area that you'd use for one tennis court, okay? So you can play, there's 16 people here that can play at any one time. If it's tennis, it's only 2, okay? So each court is a lot smaller than there, and it has some unique features. It's similar to tennis in that you're hitting a ball back and forth across the net, and singles pickleball looks a lot like tennis, but where the difference comes is you can play 4 people here, and if you can see the lines on the court, we have some very unique features and rules in pickleball that you don't have in tennis.
Okay.
One is, and some of the terminology is a little bit out there. That's the kitchen.
That's the kitchen.
And so it makes it changes the way you play the ball. There's unique, when we talk a little bit more about playing it, I can give you a little more detail about that. But we don't hit out of the air when you're serving with tennis.
Okay.
We serve underhand.
So it's more like ping pong in that sense.
A little bit
yeah.
like tennis. It's a mix of all kinds of different paddle sports.
Right, that's so would you say it's more of a social sport than most other sports?
Absolutely. It's so social. You don't need a partner to come play at the clubs. We have apps that you just sign up to there and you can come here. You don't need a spouse to go play with, a partner. You come here. If we have it, if it's organized play, we will come here. There might be 20 people here, and there's always someone to play with. So you don't have to have, say in case your spouse wants to go golfing, you can come play pickleball.
That's funny. I feel like I only started hearing about this sport in the past couple of years, 2 to 3 years. So how long has it been around?
It's been around since 1965, I believe. It started in I believe Spokane, or I think it was Spokane, Washington. Okay, it started there, and some fellas, it was a holiday and they were looking for something for their kids to do, and they made up this game. And I think they had one too many beers because they have all this strange terminology.
That is stuck around for that many years. And
it's called Pickles. I've heard a couple different stories that their dog was named Pickles, and so they named it after him, but I've heard some other stories. I'm not too sure about that. So it's been around, but it's just taken off. It's been in the background, but it's really taken off probably about 2008, 9, and then it really started to grow.
Yeah.
And it's a phenomenon now how quickly it's
So
growing.
you're saying these people invented it for their kids, but yet more older people seem to like it.
Well, and older people like it because we can play that. We're not moving as much. It's easier on our bodies. Okay. I mean, I got braces here. But I can play. And another reason is it's well organized. There's lots of tournaments. I don't think I played other sports. I was in judo and things like that, but my body can't take it anymore.
For sure.
I can come play pickleball, and I can play at a level like, there's not too many sports I can go and play at a national level. I can do that with pickleball.
I understand that you can take lessons at this court. You teach lessons.
Right.
What are some do's and don'ts on the pickleball court? Is there like some big no-nos?
Do's and don'ts, rule-wise or etiquette-wise?
Etiquette. Let's talk about
Etiquette-wise?
it. Yeah.
Well, after a game, we always come and tap our paddles like this. Put your...
Okay, like this?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Thank you for the game.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's a definitely do.
Okay, it's almost like a
Okay.
fist bump with your
Yes,
with
yeah,
your
and I think
paddle.
that's where it came from during COVID because the game really took off during COVID.
Okay.
So you don't have to touch, but
Yeah, yeah.
but it's always been so. You always think, and it's you try to be very gentlemanly. Like when you're playing here, and the ball, you're watching if the ball goes in or out. So be gentlemanly about it. If there's a question or not about it, you call it out, give the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
So you want to be gentleman about it.
Yeah, yeah.
There's no swearing allowed. They'll if you're at a
Darn.
yeah, I know. At a tournament, if you swear, you get a warning.
Fair
And
enough.
then they'll start taking points
Okay.
off. A do is definitely just have fun.
Okay, I like that. Okay, and then what about rules of the game? You were saying there was a lot of funny terminology.
Yes. Okay. Well, one of the main shots is called a dink shot.
A dink
okay.
shot.
So when we're teaching lessons, we
Thought
say,
you said
okay,
there's no swearing though in the game.
We started a lesson and we said, okay, we're going to learn a dink shot, and there's always everybody's giggling and laughing about it because it sounds a little strange.
Right.
So it's a shot that's unique to pickleball and what makes it different. Okay, the dink shot is it's a strategic, non-attackable shot. Okay, so what that means is we stand in front of that line there.
Okay.
And remember I mentioned that's
Maybe
called the kitchen.
Should we Should we demonstrate? Okay.
To start pickleball, well, we start with a serve. Okay, now we're not serving as in tennis overhead.
Right.
In this sport, because we have a much smaller court, we serve underhand, what we call a bowling serve.
Okay.
Okay. We have to go, if you can see this court's separated up into quadrants. Okay. So when we serve from this box here to that box over there.
Okay. So
diagonal. We always serve diagonal.
Okay.
Okay. So we pick a target. You want to watch yourself hit the ball to start with. Okay. Okay. We want to watch yourself hit it. We come underhand. We have to hit the ball below our waist, okay? And we put it right over there. I'll just hit one and let you try.
Sure. Okay.
We serve behind this baseline here.
Okay, I'm a lefty.
You're a lefty.
Yeah. So that's okay, right?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
I don't have
definitely.
to go that way
No,
necessarily.
no. Okay. You want
But
to.
I have to be behind the line, right?
Okay. The angle of your paddle makes such a difference in pickleball because whichever angle you have, that's where the ball's going to go.
Yes.
So if you're going to aim to that quadrant, you want the paddle, okay, straight. Okay. As soon as you turn it that way, you're going to go over that way or that way and not make it in. So you want to aim it right like that.
Okay.
And just hit it over there to your target.
Oh God. Now I feel on the spot here.
Oh.
Okay.
Beautiful. First serve, it's in.
It was a little low, but okay. All right. Oh, so that was high.
2 good serves. Excellent.
1 low, 1 high. Oh, so we're just doing this. Okay. Till I get a oh, see, there we went. We went too far out. Yeah.
That's how easy it is. Okay, from serve,
yes,
you get the return to serve.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna have Blaine. We'll have Blaine serve one over here. You hit it back.
Okay.
Keep an eye on the ball. Watch yourself hit the ball.
Does it matter which quadrant?
No.
Like, okay,
So here we go.
Now
we have two. We say in pickleball we have got 2 friendlies. So when he serves, it's got to bounce before you hit it. Okay. When you return, he's got to let it bounce before he hits it.
Okay.
That's important because
when he serves, I got to let it bounce before he hits it back. Okay.
Yeah,
or
and then
I hit it back to him.
Right, and then he's got to let it bounce. Okay. That's important in pickleball. You have those 2 free. We call them 2 friendlies.
Okay, but otherwise, is it back and forth? Like
after that, then things change.
Then
okay, then you can
get a little crazy.
Then it gets crazy. Then you can start taking things out of the air.
Oh goodness.
Okay.
Okay.
Blaine, can you serve a nice easy one?
You're doing this one, right? You're showing me?
Oh,
Are
I'll show you. Okay.
I can try, as long as he's nice to me.
Okay, I'll do one first.
You do
I'll
one
do one
first.
first.
Okay.
Okay, so it doesn't
Okay.
matter where you put it over there.
Okay. Oh.
Let's do another one.
4. Yeah. Oh, I cannot get it.
Let's get another
I think
one.
it's because I'm left-handed.
No, it's
No?
so when we start, since we're receiving, we get an advantage. You have to be behind there because they're going to serve it deep,
Okay.
behind the baseline.
Okay.
You have to.
Right.
He's serving to this
Right.
quadrant, right, Daniel?
Yes. Okay.
We've got an advantage because I get to come here
Yeah.
to the kitchen or
Okay.
the non-volley line.
Okay.
So we have an advantage. In pickleball, we always want to get to the kitchen as quick as we can because this is where we play most of the game. Okay. This is where we can cover a court easiest. If we're there, balls can go a lot bigger distance. Here we just have from here, okay, over to here.
Okay.
With 2 people here, we can pretty well cover this.
Okay.
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 So we're always trying to get here as quick as we can.
Okay.
So we have an advantage because we have 1 person here
Okay.
right now. Okay. So if Blaine serves, you hit it back, and whether you make it or not, that's okay.
Okay.
After you hit it, you run up here and join me up at the kitchen.
Okay.
Excellent. Yeah. And you come right there. Okay.
Okay.
So what Blaine did was a very important shot in pickleball called a third shot drop. Okay. When we're both here, they're both stuck at the back at the baseline there.
Okay.
Okay. So we would try and keep them back because we have an advantage. If they're back there and we're here, they're more than likely to make a mistake than we are. Okay. So we're here. So Blaine did what we call a third shot drop. Okay. So he had the ball come and drop it right in the kitchen.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
So this is where that important dink shot comes in.
The dink shot. Okay.
So he did a short third shot drop here.
Right.
We cannot attack that ball.
Okay.
So they're able to come to the kitchen.
Okay.
Okay. So Blaine, Julian, you come up to the kitchen.
So it's okay that I let it drop before
Yes.
I hit it. Okay.
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 When you get here, you can't, if it's up in the air like this, you can't step in the kitchen and hit it.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay.
That's illegal. Okay. If it bounces, I can step in there and hit it.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So that's why Blaine put it in there like that. We could step in there.
Yeah.
And we cannot attack this ball, do a
Okay.
fast ball, and try and kill the shot. Okay.
Okay.
So then we have to do what we call the dink shot.
Okay.
And it just kind of sounds, it is what it sounds like, just a little dink. Okay.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yep.
I'm confused. So he hit it here and I hit it back.
Okay.
That was okay, right?
If it's in the air, you
Okay.
can't be in here.
If it's in the, okay.
If it bounces, you can step in here.
But then the dink shot is just this little thing, right?
Right. But if you put it in here and
It has
keep
to
it
go
low,
into their kitchen?
yeah,
It
put
has
in,
to go.
Yeah, it doesn't have to. You can do any shot you want.
Ah, okay.
But if you put it in here, they can't attack it.
Okay, they can only attack it if it goes beyond the kitchen, right?
Well, no, it's too low. Like if you do a dink that's up like this, yes, Julian can attack it right from there. Okay, if he doesn't step across this line, he can, if it comes here, he can boom, a fast, hard one. Okay, that's why a dink shot is just low and close to there. They can't attack it.
Well, it sounds like there's a lot of strategy in this game, lots to think about and a lot to keep you on your toes. And Richard, thank you so much for showing me some of the tricks of the sport. I think I better keep practicing if I'm going to get any better. This was Richard Boris at the Coaldale Pickleball Court. I'm Jeanette Roche. On behalf of all of us here at Bridge City News, thanks so much for watching.
Hope to see you on the courts, Jeanette.
For sure. Well, let's keep practicing here.
Okay.
Okay.